Hey there, everyone. We're going to go through a quick rundown of the best penny stocks to buy now with VERI popping off today at 17%. We'll talk about ONDS as well. RZLV is in there. Gosh, there's a whole lot of NVTS, BBAI, REKR, MBOT, SERV, you name it. We're running right down through them, and I'll probably do some deeper dive videos on individual ones in other videos. I also want to talk about things to watch for Bitcoin, and something that just a little bit concerning about SPY and QQQ tracking the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 that we should be watchful for, given the catalyst that I talked about in a previous video with all the labor market reports coming out, inflation reports coming out, and also the Fed with their SEP also coming out. So like between now and December 18th, we got some big days ahead of us is what we have, and hopefully it sets us up for a really nice Santa Claus rally. So guys, we'll jump into those penny stocks. Boom, we'll kick things off at VERI. Talked about it this morning, had to break $4.50. It did, moved up over $5 a share. Also took out the 50 EMA so far. RSI popping up freshly above 50, and also a decent above average volume day. Had a nice little volume pop here. Nothing quite like we saw back on October the 15th. But we'll take it. This could be a good move for us off that 200 day. When I first mentioned this, so back on that 200 day, that closing price was $3.96. We're up about 25% since that time. So I hope that you were able to take advantage of it. ONDS, not doing so bad. Had a decent day today. I think it pushed up close to 10 or 13% before closing back down. And if I put the technicals up for a moment, you can see we're still fighting that area of resistance. Some good things to note is that we did close up above that 5 EMA. That's perfect. Volume half decent today, much better than the last 2 days that we had with that Friday, which was a partial trading day, and then Monday. Not so high for that, but mind you, still below average volume after just absolutely igniting volume that we've seen coming off of those lows. So I don't think that the move is done for ONDS yet. 6% today, over 6% to close. Not so darn bad. So still flagged with the green flag here because we are up above the 200 day, the 50 day, the 5 and the 13, you name it. We have a very bullish stack of moving averages here. We're in good shape for this. RSI also up above 55. So we have bullish momentum still going forward as well. NVTS, we're working on that. Man, that volume, need to pump it and just not quite getting that volume. And this thing is really close to getting flagged. Now, mind you, I talked about this a lot of times, but I said it was a huge for a bounce off of the 200. And that 200, that low price that we got was all the way down at $6.85. And since that time, it pushed up to $9.10. That's a huge move in terms of percents for that move that we got during that time. 32% if you're able to take advantage of it. Even more if you're able to use options for it. I said we got to watch out for that 50. Yeah, we got up above 13. Didn't quite get to the 50. We got to watch out, though, because we're back down below the 13. We're putting pressure down on the 5. This thing could push us back down towards the 200 if the 5 gives way and if that 13 crosses down over the 5. The RSI is not quite in bullish territory. We are still in bearish territory. So if we fall down below the 200, I'm going to have to change this to a yellow flag for NVTS. So we want to be watchful for that. The RSI is rising, but right now we don't. Besides being up above the 200 day, we're in near-term bearish territory for NVTS, but not overall bearish territory, just to be clear about that. And we still have all this chop over here to the left, which I think is where we find that accumulation for, especially if we start to push down into the $5 territory. I think we're going to find even more rampant excitement for that. So moving on to bigbear.ai, how did it do today? Man, I said we got to watch those moving averages. Not only did we not close above them, but we had a pretty big sell down below, down about 4% today. Look out below for that 200 day, all the way down at $5.46. We'll see if it's able to hold for us. So far, we've been getting lower lows and lower highs, so that's signaling a downtrend. RSI is in bearish territory. It's still green because we're up above the 200 and for the flag that I have over here on the right-hand side of the screen. But I'll tell you what, if we head back down to that 200, chances are we're going to see some more bearish crossovers during that time. And we want to see some of that sweet, big, beautiful bill money being tossed there that way. We need more catalyst to come along. And we know it's a momentum stock. Think about it like having a balloon that's just filled with regular old atmospheric air, not helium. And we just got to kind of keep on hitting that balloon up. Well, right now, nobody's whacking the balloon, so it's not going back up in the air at the moment. But when it does, it should move up pretty quickly. And then we have to see where that resistance is to the north if we keep on finding it. North of that $8 per share for Big Bear AI. So we do want to see, hopefully we get some signs soon that we're going to put in some higher highs and some higher lows. Now, mind you, off of this major low back here, we are still up above that, but off the major highs, man, we just keep on creeping down. We'll see what we get. Not great that we weren't able to break the 50 yet. We got to keep watching for that. REKR also still up above the 200. This one, man, the volume-wise, this thing is just dead in the water at the moment. Missing a catalyst to really push it up. Also, we're down below the 5, the 13, the 50. Bearish structure there. Still in overall bullish territory. But I am watching for that next big volume movement to come in for us, especially as we start to chop sideways with these candles. This is that time that you could actually start to see with that sideways movement. You can want to watch for those high conviction moves. A big old candle with some volume support in either direction, up or down. That makes it something tradable. Hopefully it's up because it's fun to be bullish. Moving over to MBOT. Now today, not great, down about 2%. I will say the volume keeps tapering off, but what I'm zooming in on here is the fact that we landed on that 5 EMA and pushed back up a little bit. Now, mind you, as a yellow flag, not green, because we are in bearish territory, but with some reason to be hopeful that we could wipe out this death cross that we just got with that 50 crossing down over the 200. With that volume move that we had, RSI pretty much at 50. It's 49.88, so almost at that bullish territory. And we got to look to see that we're getting that price action going back the other way. If we look down at an intraday chart, like an hourly chart, for example, you can see the structure that we're finding right now and the prices that we want to climb up above. We got to break 2.25. First of all, it's sort of the top of this and it's the bottom of that right there. And breaking up above that is going to be much to our benefit if we're able to do it. But it was like rampant move, lots of excitement, and then it's over for right now. But it is holding steady. And if we go a little bit left, you can see this shelf that we're sitting on right here. We want to watch and see that support to hold, which happens to be right around 220, a little bit south of that. Now, mind you, it could push down a little bit further. Maybe we retest that 200 hour, which we haven't retested. We broke up above it on that strong volume. Maybe we come down and hit the 200 hour and find that bounce back up the other way because it has gone pretty much untested as support. I guess there was a little bit of a touch that next candle over during pre-market hours. Be nicer to see it during regular market hours. Moving over to SERV. There we go. Number to beat. We still got to get up above that 1040. You can see that when we're hitting the bottom of this part right here, that's where we're having trouble. As soon as we got in there, we tried to make that run in that last hour of the regular trading hours and just got rejected off of that and sold pretty heavily back down from being over $10 per share. Now, where did this thing close yesterday? This thing closed at 970 and then we closed up at 1006. So it's nice to see that starting to turn back around. If we go to a daily basis, what does that look like? I told you we got to break this peak that's over here at that 1042. We did close up above the 5 and the 13. That's perfect. A little bit more, we could get a bullish crossover there. Yellow flag again on this one because we are down below the 50 and the 200. So right now, not a perfect bearish setup. It could be some hope for some bullishness. That RSI starting to creep back out of bearish territory. So it's a rising RSI. Not quite there yet. And once again, appealing to the volumes, they're still settling a little bit. So a little bit of indecision. So we want to watch for that igniting volume that we get. It was nice to see that long wick on that low bottom candle there. Pushed back up, took the 5 and the 13. The big hurdle is going to be the 200. We got to clear the 200. And then after that's the 50. And we'll probably see a retest if we're able to make that climb. Let's wrap things up here with RZLV. Then we'll get to the indices and Bitcoin. And so for RZLV, it seems as though trying to catch it now is like trying to catch a falling knife. This is one that I would love to do a leaps option play. Once we start to see signs that bottoming are in, I thought maybe we would see it soon. And it just overtook that last low that we saw. So not selling pressure, no signs that it's over yet. If we drop down to a day chart, an intraday chart for RZLV, you can see what we're facing here. Just couldn't hold on to that bottom from yesterday. As we went into the close and into the after hours, which would have been perfect. Sold off a little bit more today, putting in a new low price for us. And now we have something to hit our heads on. And it always hurts to hit your head. So we want to watch those volumes. The volume's picking up as the price drops, maybe showing that we're seeing more excitement go out of the play. Although I think that we're getting into that juicy territory. I thought, honestly, I was surprised to see us break out of this consolidation pattern that we have here when we broke to the downside on this one, that we started to sell further. And that is one that could signal that we lose a little bit more before we start gaining for RZLV. So I want to get into the background market bias a little bit because that's going to influence the penny stocks as we see them. So the thing that I'm slightly worried about, we'll call it, for SPY, in terms of what we're seeing on the charts and how it could play out between now and that December 18th time period. Because if there's any time that that worry is going to hit, I would say that having a lot of economic catalysts like we have, a lot of big news events like we have, that could be it. And then maybe Bitcoin is that saving grace, that signal to us that maybe we should be a little bit more forgiving to those risk assets. So let's take a look at those as well. So SPY, big thing I'm looking at is the weekly chart, because what we see when we look at the RSI for the weekly chart, that's down here. I'll stretch it out for you. This purple line, we have the highs coming down, so the momentum is dropping, and also the bottom's coming down on that. And so with the drop in momentum, which is still in bullish territory, by the way, we also have a rise in prices over that same time period. So from the end of September up until present, we keep on getting higher highs and higher lows off of the prices. But what we're getting from momentum is that we're getting that drop in momentum instead. So that is called a bearish divergence. And usually it plays out pretty well and pretty predictably for us. So what's it important that we see? What's important that we see to refute that bearish divergence case for things? And I don't want to understate this. These two previous peaks that we have, we at least want to overtake. Well, this would be a first good one to be able to close above Friday, the 28th of November. So this past Friday, and even better if we can overtake this previous peak that we had here back on November the 12th. Putting in a higher high could behoove us, could do us very well to see us move up that way. If we don't do that, if instead we hit our heads, we could get a rejection off of that. Now, mind you, a bigger sell, I think, would take a snapping event, if you will. And I think that at this point in time, I don't think it would be in terms of in Bitcoin or Nvidia. Instead, I think more of a snapping event would happen economically. That would be a labor market report, or maybe something Jerome Powell says as their meeting concludes coming up this next week. Those are, maybe it's the summary of economic projections, maybe it's a combination. We want to watch for that narrative unfold, and we want to watch for how the stocks react to that narrative. It could turn out very bullish for us, that we start to put in new highs, we sit on top previous highs as support, and then party on Wayne, party on Garth. If we get rejected instead and we watch the market sell down with the news, then it could be a lookout below sort of situation. And well, if you want further interpretation and analysis on that, well, here I am. You subscribe to my channel, and I'll keep on talking about it and giving my take on it. And hopefully you're getting a blended approach to this, that you're also following other YouTubers that are out there. Stockmo is absolutely incredible for macro. As a matter of fact, I've teamed up with him in the Discord, and then also through Stockmo Academy to give some offerings there, because they are just, the Discord itself is just an entire ecosystem. They're dedicated to help you in your journey towards financial freedom and building alpha in your portfolio. And the Stockmo Academy courses that are there, technical analysis, options, crypto, you name it, they are also absolutely the best that I've found out there. So links in the description. Enough of the selling. I do want to say though that for this, if you want to know more about the macros, see more about the technicals, I do try to give that well-rounded approach, so you're not just looking at a single stock or security in isolation, or a single crypto in isolation, that you kind of have it all together in a very cohesive manner. So let's get into, so that's what I'm concerned about. Just to summarize, for the Bitcoin, for SPY, for the SP 500, is that bearish divergence plays out, and that we have a snapping event through the narrative that comes out from labor market and inflation reports, for example, or whatever Jerome Powell says. The combination and the culmination of things between now and December 18th, I think it's a time that the market might also find reasons to worry. It might also find reasons to rally. The technicals are going to give us that interpretation, among other things that we can interpret. Bitcoin, very exciting thing to see this. Just look at that massive candle that we're seeing engulfing this entire body, but not the wick. But now, mind you, we had some buying pressure off those long bottom wicks, and now we're getting this massive body candle up 6.5% as I record this video. The number to beat, we want to see this peak right here. Let me zoom in for you. This peak right here from November the 28th, which is at 93,091. We want to see that peak overtaken. Now, mind you, just closing up above these previous closes is a good thing. So if I change the way that you view this, we'll take down the technicals. We'll also take down the moving averages, and we're going to give you just this view of the closing prices that you see. Now, mind you, this is an active candle right here, so this is not yet a higher close than what we have. But tonight, as this candle closes, if it closes up above these, that is a higher closing price than what we had before. It is even better if we overtake that pivot high that we got, that minor pivot high more recently. That happens to be, I'll give you the exact number from Bitstamp here, 93,091. So this is very good. Also, check out the volume that we have. The volume for Bitcoin, also above average volume. This is good to show us that the bottom might be in terms of temporary bottom anyway for Bitcoin, above average volume. And some of that could have to do with Bank of America giving a recommendation for 1 to 4% allocation to crypto starting in January of 2026. That could be bringing in some extra excitement. The RSI, by the way, happens to be creeping up on 50. This could be very, very good for a near-term move for Bitcoin. And then one other thing that I want to mention is that I was looking through the headlines for the different news stories for Bitcoin, and I've also heard this across the past few days, people talking about this could be month-long sell down, this could be months-long bear market for Bitcoin. And that's usually what you start to hear for peak fear moments when bottoms are in. So I don't know that the bottom is in or it's not. I'm going to watch the technicals and see how they play out, and there's definitely commentary I can give there. But I will say that between what we're seeing on the chart right now and what we're seeing in the headlines of people saying that we could see the next 3 to 6 months could continue the bear market for crypto, yeah, maybe it could. But I will say that normally when you start to get those people coming out and saying that, you know, hey, we could see another couple months of this. This could go on for years. That's usually that peak fear moment that usually has at least a rally with it, if not a complete recovery. Or a complete reversal, I should say. So we absolutely want to watch and see where this goes. And we want to watch for that support happening just north of 93,000 per BTC. Guys, this video has gotten kind of long on us. I do like to talk about this stuff. I love to talk about this kind of stuff. Come on over and join the Discord, see me and the other expert panelists that are over there. We'd love to talk to you, and we'd also love to share ideas and hear the ideas that you have. You can ask the experts. You can use the AI tools, the advanced charting tools. Like I said, entire ecosystem. Thousands of members over there already. I believe the 3-day free trial is still active, so you can try it risk-free for those 3 days. And if you're checking out those courses through Stockmo Academy, make sure that you use code word doctor. That's going to save you $400 on the sign up for any one of those courses. If you bundle the courses together, you can still get that $400 discount with code word doctor, but you also get the bundle discount on top of it, deepening the value to you. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.